The growth of internet ad spending means you're going to see a lot more meal kits in grocery stores.
So the more people are spending online on advertisements, the more people are just going to buy fully made meals when they go shopping.
Exactly. So you're going to see a lot more of those meal kits, those fully prepped meals in grocery stores as online ad sales increase. Let's get to it. Welcome to the KnockOn Effect. This is where we begin with the thing you know and end up in a strange place. I'm Justine Underhill, and joining us this week we have Alex Rosenberg, and we have a very special guest in person, the professor himself, Roger Hurst.
Good to see you both again.
And this is an interesting episode because you both are guessers today.
Yeah, he's taking off the professor's robes and he's sitting among the students this week, which
yes,
is very
exactly. So you guys will both have a chance to guess as to why an increase in internet ad spending will mean more meal kits in grocery stores. Would either of you like to go first?
I'll give it a stab.
Sure.
So I think that as you get more spending on internet ads, which goes to a very small number of very, very wealthy internet companies, thousands and thousands of advertising executive families are now going to be on the breadline, and instead of buying luxury groceries in nice local stores, they're going to go to the local grocery store and buy these cheaper meals.
Okay, and Alex, what about you?
I think that, so more ad spending means that the existing, the newspapers and TV and places where you might ordinarily see ads are going away. And as a result, people are, going to learn less about brands because less of the advertising is about brands than is on TV. And so instead of wanting to buy, Pepperidge Farm cookies or Boar's Head chicken, they'll just be fine with whatever the supermarket wants to give you, and they'll just buy the full meal at the supermarket because there's less brand-based advertising.
Wow, I like the ideas that you guys came up with. They are completely wrong. We will start there. Totally wrong. But you guys touch on some very important points that we will hit on very soon. And this week, we begin in the world of advertising.
Yes,
so no surprises there. But it is worth mentioning that in 2017, it was a big year because that was the year, and I have a chart here for you guys, that digital ad spending surpassed spending on TV. So we have this, and you can see that's a pretty big cross right there. Right now, we have about $209 billion globally being spent on digital ads, whereas TV in 2017 had $178 billion. And that gap is growing and growing and growing and expected to grow even more this year. And if you're trying to get customers to buy your goods, so let's pretend you guys are both some food makers, and you want people to buy your goods, where's the best place to put an ad? Where would you put them?
Directly on the food itself. Think about it. Where else do you get to reach the market of consumers who might use your food? People who buy food are very likely to buy more food. So even if I was advertising chicken, I put a big sticker on a cantaloupe. Or if I was advertising kiwis, I put it right on the back of a box of cereal. As
ludicrous as that sounds, there is some merit to it.
I know there's merit to it. That's
because what you want to do is you want to put your ads where people are taking out their wallet.
Yes.
And so if you're online, where would you do that?
Ooh. On a wallet. How about that?
No, that's funny.
Why haven't people done that?
Okay, new business idea from Alex.
Yeah.
Put your advertising on wallets.
Look out for the Real Vision wallet.
Yeah, right. Well, if you're online, where would you do it? So not like online, where would you go?
But to the online grocery store as you're going into the portal.
Perfect. So that would be something like Amazon. And Amazon is the major winner here from this increase in digital ad spending. Actually,
so ads that are being put on Amazon.
Yeah, ads that are being put on Amazon. And that's huge because more and more people are going to Amazon as their first place to do a search for a product. I think it's over half of product searches are specifically on Amazon. And Recode actually had a really amazing report showing that more and more pages on Amazon are becoming increasingly crowded with ads.
And is this for groceries when you go into Amazon? So you might be buying a camera and you see something for a lettuce.
Well, it's more so like you'll see that too, but it's something like this where you'll search for cereal and all this space, all this retail at the top of the page is advertisement.
So I think Amazon doing a lot more food selling in the US than they are in the UK by the looks of it.
Yeah, that's a big deal. This real estate is important because people don't go down oftentimes past the first page.
Cool.
And spending on sponsored products on Amazon has increased by 165% over the past year alone. And so that's pretty dramatic increase that we've seen. And this shift in ad spending is going to have profound impacts. So what are the places that are getting impacted? You mentioned one of them. TV.
TV?
Yeah, very
TV,
good. Yeah, newspapers.
Newspaper's the big one.
Exactly.
Family business was in that, and advertising dried up.
Exactly. We also have the world of local grocery stores will be impacted. Okay, so I want you guys, we're all gonna take a trip right now, a nice little field trip.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna take it to the inside of your favorite grocery store.
Great. It's right around the
No,
corner.
no, come back here. You're gonna close your eyes and do this. So close your eyes. You are in the aisle of your favorite grocery store, the cereal aisle, walking down it. Okay, so you're gonna have some mini wheats on the right and some Cheerios on the left. And what else do you see, Alex?
I see Honey Nut Cheerios. I see Lucky Charms over there.
Roger, what do you see?
Quaker Oat Crunch pillows.
So you can open your eyes. Okay, so we're now in a mini cereal aisle.
It's the worst magic trick ever.
Okay, so products that you're likely to see. You're likely to see things from, this is a Post cereal, Fruity Pebbles.
Okay.
We have General Mills Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and we have Raisin Bran. And so these are the products that you're most likely to see. These are the three major players in the cereal industry. And what most people don't realize.
I love the back of this box.
Boom.
It's
It's
There's
like
a
real.
number of E numbers there. Christ, kids running all over the shop.
What most people don't realize is that when you're walking down that cereal aisle, there is a war being fought over retail space. So behind those cereal boxes, there's a huge amount of real estate that is incredibly valuable. Wow. So this is where we get into the world of slotting fees.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I want to learn about this.
So basically what happens is that real estate in the grocery store is sold to the highest bidder. Now there are 4 types of fees. We're going to get into each one of them. But what it means is that poor Uncle Sam cereal is oftentimes left in the dust.
I mean, to be fair, that looks absolutely terrible.
Well, they didn't spend as much on marketing.
And also, it kind of looks like a Cracker Jack prize, I guess,
Yeah.
in the front. You see that? But
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look at that, just compare
But
those.
no joke. When we went to the store and we're looking at these items in the cereal aisle, that was on the bottom shelf. That was
What?
off in the corner.
His name was Lafayette Coltrane? Lafayette Uncle Sam Coltrane?
So these are prominently displayed, and those are placed elsewhere in the lower
small,
real estate
too.
area.
I'd buy that one for the game. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing on them, but this, they have stickers inside as well. I'd
Oh yeah,
always
no,
buy
I know.
those.
So these are all very, very appealing. Anyway, so basically what
I'm
happens
going to add
is...
this to a salad?
Okay, come on, I'm gonna take that back from you. You're taking this over
Who
here.
would add that to a salad?
We're putting this over here, far away
Good
from
Lord.
Alex. So food makers, basically what happens is they pay grocery stores for certain coveted spots.
Okay.
So anything that's at eye level is a highly coveted spot, and that goes for the highest rates. And that's about the shelf that's second.
Roger's eye level and my
Well, yeah,
eye
I
level
mean-
are...
Or a
Got it.
child's eye level, so
Alex.
it's they do it by average height, and so it's usually things that are second from the top shelf. So let's get into the fees themselves. So the first type of fee is a slotting fee, as I've talked about, and the FTC actually conducted a study in 2003
Okay.
where they found this information. So they found that slotting fees associated with one product in a chain store in one metropolitan area ranged anywhere between $2,000 and $21,000. So to get your one product, just even in the store, cost that much. And if a food company wanted to roll out an entire new product nationwide, it would need a slotting fee allowance of between $1 million and $2 million.
I'm confused.
Yeah, sure.
So, is that... I assumed that supermarket got some of the profit from the... How much of the profit they get from the food? So, like, if they sell this for... What does this go for? $33, something like that, $47 these days. If they sell it for $50, I assume they just took like $5 of it.
No. So margins at grocery stores are razor thin. For every dollar of product that they sell, they probably get about 1 penny, 1 to 2 pennies. from that product. It's
so basically a big advertisement.
Yes, grocery stores are a gigantic
It's
advertising.
actually really great. So we basically buy things at cost.
I mean, it all comes around. So you're like, in terms of the grocery stores getting a little bit more money, but they have to charge a higher price for the product because they're paying so much in terms of a slotting fee.
So I see. So you basically just pay more for the Raisin Bran.
Yeah, so the Raisin Bran ends up charging higher prices, probably.
So really the value is to buy Uncle Sam because they're probably not paying much for the slotting fee, and the grocery store isn't getting much margin.
Well, we'll get into all of that.
Okay.
Because the question is, do you ever even see Uncle Sam in the grocery store?
Every year on Tax Day or some joke like that.
No. But I do want you guys to take a guess here. So do you guys know which real estate in the grocery store is the most expensive?
As in which product?
Yeah, which product? Where's the biggest war being fought?
Oh, I was going to say alcohol. Booze.
There's no slotting fees allowed for alcohol. So that is the most
good.
that is the most wrong you could be.
That's fascinating.
Right, terrible, yeah. So,
come on,
I've just
Professor.
downgraded to doctor.
Yeah.
So, meat products?
Also not in meat products.
I'm gonna guess.
But you bizarrely guessed the two industries that
They're
do
the
not
worst.
have.
Christ.
I'm gonna guess something with very high margins and cheap ingredients. So maybe candy bars, impulse buy.
Oh, very good. And actually, high margins there is a correlation. There was a study done, and it does tend to be products with higher margins have higher slotting fees. So things like candy bars, specifically when you go to check out. The checkout aisle has a huge.
I didn't get enough credit for
Spearmint
that.
gum, all the rest of it.
There's one candy maker paid a chain $500,000, $500,000 to place a single product next to cash registers. So that is a big money maker.
Right, because you're checking out, you're buying all this crap anyway. You're like,
Yeah.
my breath is gonna
Impulse
smell
buys.
terrible after I eat all these this garlic that I
Yes,
bought.
exactly.
Adding some gum.
Other things,
Wow.
the ice cream industry and the freezer for the ice cream, frozen pizza, very, very competitive. DiGiorno, yeah, it was like big wars fought over there. And then, of course, cereal, which is why we have all these beautiful boxes over here. Now, so we just talked about slotting fees, so I want to talk about some of the other fees. So then there are pay-to-stay fees, which are just to keep your item on the shelf. So
Nice piece of shelf space you got there.
Yeah.
Be a shame if something happened to it.
Exactly. And so the slotting fee is to get your product in the store. The pay-to-stay fee is to just keep it in the store. And that can be even in the form of like discounts or promotions. So that works as well. So there's a lot of negotiating room there. Then there are purchasing allowances where the store buys 10 of the product, they get one free, things like that. And then there's free fill, which is where extra product is sent to cover display or sampling or breakage costs and stuff like that. But there's even more than this. So we talked about, these different types of fees. There's more. The system gets even stranger because there are certain category captains for different products.
Like Captain Crunch?
I wish, no, not like Captain Crunch, but it's maybe like, let's say, the leading soft drink. They get to go into the soft drink aisle and rearrange all the products in the grocery store.
No.
Yes.
That's like the trump card where you drop the card and then like all the other powers go away.
Yeah, it's a total trump card. So oftentimes if you go into a grocery store and you see someone stocking the shelves, it's not necessarily someone that works at the grocery store. It's oftentimes likely someone that works at the company that's stocking that
So
product.
they don't have contracts though. They only say you can have yours at the front and here's your contract, and then if someone comes in,
They
don't
get to decide the
aren't they
entire
illegal?
layout.
But the Raisin Bran paid for that space. They can't just move them out of that space.
Well, so I want to talk to you about a cookie company called Hydrox Cookie. Have
Great
you heard
name.
of them? Yeah? Okay. So they are a competitor.
Hydrox, that's what I always say.
They are a competitor to Oreo, and they
How are
recently
they doing?
filed, well, not so great.
No kidding.
Okay, so this comes from a Facebook post from Hydrox Cookie,
Uh-oh.
the competitor to Oreo.
Okay.
So they said, this was just a few weeks ago, we at Hydrox Cookie have been very frustrated with the hiding of our cookies at major retailers by the folks at Oreo. So we finally filed an official complaint with the Federal Trade Commission. They were talking to a buyer and they said that the buyer responded, quote, "You are going to have to hire people to go into each of our stores to make sure Hydrox is not being hidden." And then they later said, Hydrox was moved to the very top shelf and replaced with either another flavor of Oreos or Nutter Butters, or they were blocked by hanging tags or other products.
Wow.
And so here's a picture. So this is what happened, was you see all the Oreos there, and the Hydrox is hidden behind the tag.
Okay, good Lord. I mean, I'm sorry, but this is the worst packaging I've ever seen. And by far the worst name, Hydrox. I mean, it sounds like the name of some race in Lord of the Rings I didn't hear about.
People love Hydrox Cookies.
No, they don't.
I was reading their
Do they change
Facebook.
the price with this as well? Do they kind of move the things, then move the price? And do
They're completely, yeah.
and do the people, back office of the supermarket
Well, this is free.
in with this? Are they
this
getting
is-
backhanders?
Well, in some sense, it's free work for the grocery store because they have people coming in to restock everything.
Right,
Yeah, so
okay.
they don't have to worry about.
So there's poor Walmart workers who get paid nothing getting out of work because the Oreos are chaps coming in and doing the work for them.
But so Hydrox could pay for better shelf space, or because if they paid for the shelf space, then I assume they couldn't be moved.
It doesn't work that way, actually, and that brings us to this is a complaint that's not new, and because it gets worse. So in 1999, there was a somewhat surreal Senate Small Business Committee hearing. Those that were testifying in this committee hearing had their identities hidden behind a screen and their voices muffled so that they could go and testify without any repercussions. And I actually want to play a clip from this hearing.
Oh, so exciting.
So this is...
I have information that the big competitor also has the ability to buy category sales and therefore knows exactly where they need to attack us, reduce our sales, eliminate our sales, and the consumer is the ultimate loser.
So they were basically talking about a competitor getting all their sales information from the grocery store because the competitor was a leading brand and they had access to all the sales from all the different products. I mean, so the amount of, you could almost call this collusion in some sort of sense. There are even cases where a small company agrees to pay the slotting fee, and then guess what? Their agreement was broken when another chain or another competitor came in and said, we'll pay a higher price.
Gazumping.
Yeah. And so it's kind of a crazy thing because, like, why is this allowed? And this is something there have been over the years. There have been so many investigations into, whether it's like what the inner workings are, but it is still totally legal.
I gotta be honest, doesn't concern me.
Doesn't concern you.
We have so many brands of unhealthy food. First of all, it's all bullshit anyway. If I can say that, Hydrox Cookies and it's all the same stuff. It's just. All these packages are full of lies. Look right here. It says if you add milk, then it has 9 grams of protein from the milk that you're. And we have so much choice in what we buy anyway that it doesn't bother me that it's not right in front of your eyes. They might not buy this Hydrox cookie.
Well, what it does mean is that the larger players have advantage. So this does get into antitrust concerns. There have been calls about that because newer products can't necessarily get can't get the eyeballs. And so it leads to an advantage that is maintained by the incumbent. And this is where we get into a barrage of knock-on effects.
Right.
Okay, so basically this means that experts expect that slotting fees are going to fade over time because there is so much more competition in the grocery space because everything is shifting, ad spending is shifting online. And so because of that, we're not gonna see slotting fees the same way that we have seen them in the past. So now, first knock-on effect, you're likely to see more varied products on shelves. So things like Uncle Sam, our lovely Uncle Sam, because slotting fees might not be as expensive in the future.
You know what I always say? It's not a salad without Uncle Sam original wheat berry flakes.
Exactly. And it might not necessarily be more varied products in the cookie aisle because that's a very competitive space, but it might be more in the bread aisle or the seasoning and dressing areas. Now, our next knock-on effect. So according to a report by the Center for Science in the Public Interest, manufacturers of junk food were more likely to be able to afford the slotting fees. And so as we move into this area where maybe slotting fees are a little bit less prominent, rather than buying that Cheetos, you might end up buying something like an apple because apples don't have slotting fees. They're not put everywhere to be prominent.
Americans ain't buying no apples, I'll tell you that right now.
But the report did find that, how you eat, it's not just the brands that you have, but possibly the types of foods that you're more likely to see are changed by this model.
Well, and here is another concern, if I may, is that it's not exactly the world's healthiest foods that are buying these slotting fees. And people, there's an argument, I am not a nutritionist, but there's an argument that there's some called an addiction that people develop to junk food, to sugar, high sugar foods, and to high carby foods. And maybe it's like every time you go to the supermarket trying to buy healthy foods, and you're getting triggered by these unhealthy foods right in front of your eyes, and you're actually purposely, so imagine someone who's trying to eat healthier, and they're walking through the supermarket, and these companies that are selling this thing that's frankly like killing all of us, let's just put it where it is, but are paying money for this person who's trying to buy healthy food to be swayed into actually buying this
something else. Yeah. And so
it's
that's
actually.
Things, I even, this is for me, I'm swayed even by, I go into the kitchens here at work and there are Oreos or other cookies and I'll eat them.
I think there's.
Oh yeah, there's a photo of me eating a lot of Oreo cookies.
Yeah, it's an incredible feat. The amount of Oreos you're able to put away is like.
And that was only half of the amount that I had in one day. But yeah, basically what people have in front of their face, this should not be discounted. What you see is you're much more likely to consume.
I'm absolutely staggered at the fact that everyone seems to be buying what they see in the supermarket. I go in with a list. I know what I want to do. Well before I get there, I buy my, I buy my lemon, I buy my cantaloupe, whatever, bit of Parma ham, and off we go. And I don't go, Oreo, that's what I want today.
I don't think people in the U.S. operate that way.
I think it's different. I think there might be a real cultural difference because in how people make their food.
I have been staggered by what I've heard so far.
So everything we were talking about was from a consumer perspective.
Yes.
So what you're going to see in a grocery store. Now I want to take a look at it from an industry perspective. So basically, as we talked about, margins are super thin in the grocery space, 1% to 2% for what they sell. And John Stanton, he's a professor of food marketing at St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia. He estimates that 60 to 70% of grocers' profits comes from those slotting fees.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen different estimates.
That's incredible.
I've seen, this was from a few, I think 2000, there was an estimate that it was around 40%, but this is a more recent estimate. And he has this funny quote, he says, they make more money when they buy the food than when they sell the food. But the bigger picture here in terms of the industry is that fading slotting fees could potentially mean that we're going to see even more mergers in the grocery space, even more consolidations. And it has huge implications for specifically mid-sized chains. They don't have the volume to survive on low margins, like something like what Walmart would be able to do, or they haven't figured out how to compete in the niche market industries that have higher margins, so things like more organic products and stuff like that. And grocery chain Tops recently filed for bankruptcy, and they said in their filing that they could neither afford to offer the sort of organic premium products that its high-end competitors could, and they couldn't make the sorts of price cuts that would attract a Walmart or Aldi shopper. And so these chains that are in the middle are kind of trapped in some ways.
I have to say this is very concerning because it's easy for wealthy people to buy food online and stuff, but there's already a concept of food deserts in poorer areas. Even areas in New York where it's hard to buy good food. And if grocery stores are closing and only high-end grocery stores are going to remain, that's actually pretty concerning.
And it might be interesting to see how that maybe exacerbates the trend to go online even quicker.
Right.
So we'll see where that happens. And then we have the final knock-on effect.
Right.
So we've kind of reached our destination. So I just want to quickly recap. The share of online advertising is growing. Slotting fees are slipping. Grocers are going to have to find new sources of income. So one way that they can do that is by trying to attract people into the store, so they could have in-store bars and dining areas. That's one thing. Giant Eagle stores in Pittsburgh are hosting events. I thought this was funny, like Wine Fridays, where you pay $5 for a glass of wine, or $5 for a glass, and then you go around the store tasting different wines, and they have hors d'oeuvres set up around, so that gets you to see more products.
And you're supposed to buy food at the same time.
Yeah, maybe you shop.
That gets exciting. That gets very exciting.
Yeah, no, so that gets people into the store, but then they also have to look at other things that have higher margins, to make more money. And so to do that, they have to look at things like delis and bakeries, because those actually bring in a lot more money.
Right.
So there's a report from 2016 that in-store bakery margins were over 45%. 45% versus the 1% to 2% that they're making on other products. That's huge.
Wow, you get ripped buying those rolls at a
Yeah,
supermarket.
exactly. No, I know. It's like 45%.
Cupcakes, specialty breads.
Yeah, all those things.
Beautiful stuff.
So don't be surprised if you see more bakeries
Yeah.
in your grocery store or more baked items. And then, of course, we have the meal kit space. So that's another higher grossing item. So we have Kroger.
Okay.
They bought Home Chef, which is a meal kit company, for $200 million recently. And then we have Albertsons. They recently purchased meal kit startup Plated. And Walmart partnered with Gobble. And so basically all these different grocery stores have all the items for these prepared meal kits. They have everything there. And that's something where you can charge a much higher margin for it. And so why not? Why not go into that space? And so my thesis is that we are definitely going to see more of this as they need to make more money.
What do you get in these meal kits? What's in? Is it 2 courses, 3 courses, or just
it's,
a main and a drink?
No, it's so I don't
That is
know.
the most British question I've ever heard. What, you only get 2 courses in a meal kit?
No, so I did.
Where's the sorbet to cleanse your palate?
I did Blue
Start with main course
Apron.
pudding, at least.
Oh yeah,
Canapes.
I did Blue Apron for a while.
Yeah.
And Blue Apron, they give you basically instructions. They give you a few different meals for it could be like 5 days or something like that. And so you have these different prepared meals. So if you want to eat 2 different meals in one day, you're welcome to do it. But
Is
they
it like
also
a tray that you put in the microwave?
No.
like in
It is an onion that you have to chop up, and it tells you, but it's the right amount. So they give you everything prepared.
It's interesting too because it makes sense that the supermarket, oh my God, what are we going to do with all these goddamn rutabagas? Let's put it in a rutabaga recipe and have it a meal kit. It's actually a very nice synergy, and hopefully, there's a ton of food waste at supermarkets.
And so that would be a good way to push product if they needed to.
Right.
So absolutely. So welcome to this new world.
Yeah, so I think you got us there. I think we can agree that you convinced us, you convinced me at least, that higher internet ad spending will basically lead to more grocery sales online. The traditional supermarkets get squeezed, and these brands are paying more for online ads and less for the placements. Placements are a huge part of supermarkets' margins, so that means that supermarkets are going to have to turn to other things to stay afloat, like meal kits.
Meal kits.
Meal kits.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah,
convinced?
I agree. I think kind of now I know what a meal kit is, because at the beginning I thought got a little bit of cream cheese and maybe a couple of biscuits in this sort of nice little box. I was thinking, why would anyone buy those? These poor advertising execs. But what you mean is actually quite nice food, and that you cook. Okay, I get that. Yeah, actually, I'm guilty. I enjoy doing that myself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, basically, we now have advertising, not just turning the TV world upside down, but also the grocery space. All right, well, that does it for this week's KnockOn Effect. You can find new episodes every week on Thursdays at realvision.com.
And you can sign up for your 14-day free trial at realvision.com/KnockOn Effect.
And also, we have a third promotion this week, so it's very exciting. If you sign up for Real Vision Now, if you subscribe to Real Vision Now, you also get a year's free access to Business Insider Prime, which is worth $99. You can find out more at realvision.com/business-insider.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for joining us this week. See you next week.
It's salad time. Oh, yeah.
No.
Time for some salad.
Let's get these Raisin Bran. Ugh.